Oh, so here we are again. Got another 20 minutes of fire. Hopefully this time it actually works. If it wasn't in such a bad spot, I think I would enjoy it much more. Last night I was actually sitting here by campfire sewing a handmade t-shirt quilt for my son who just is going to graduate on the 24th, and nobody wants to give me a ride there. So that might be pretty painful if I can't figure it out. And then he just turned 18 on the week before, so I had to miss out on that because my family likes to parental alienation, so I didn't get to see him for that, and it hurt me and it hurt him, and there really wasn't much I could do about it. So I was crying like crazy. He was crying, and he actually begged his donor and his grandfather, and they both said no. And it's just like, how worse can it get? Like, I'm not on drugs. I'm not a criminal. I just had a vehicle crash through my house, and I had absolutely no empathy from my family because they're all encased in their own drama and lies and craziness. So I just have to deal with this craziness all by myself. But how it started um, was on April 23rd, 2022. I was sleeping in bed with my son, and our bedroom is the living room. So I was sleeping in bed with him, and a vehicle crashes into my house, waking us up and shaking the house like a train went through it. And it was a brand new 2021 Jeep Grand Cherokee. Now, it's just funny, but it's a year before I had another Jeep crash into my brand new Jeep, which was the 2016 Jeep, and total it when I was taking my daughter to the doctor. Kind of crazy that it just Jeeps keep attacking me. But yeah, on Saturday, the 23rd of April 2021, I had a vehicle crash into my house, and they hit right next to the gas line. We were told by the fire department that we were pretty lucky that the house didn't go kaboom. And yeah, so they pulled the electric meters and they pulled the gas meters, and they told us we wouldn't be able to go back into our house. And so the Red Cross was contacted, and so maybe a couple hours later, after we had to go searching for our dogs, we had Red Cross come here and give me $500 for a few nights hotels and expenses. But yeah, when the crash happened, I was in bed with my son. My son's bed was actually on the other side of the wall of this crash, and my animals were out on the porch. My two dogs, my Basenji and my Chihuahua, that I was fostering, and my Flemish giant rabbit were outside when were out on the porch when it was hit and obliterated by this brand new Jeep. So we start screaming like, what's going on and what happened, and I look outside and I see this Jeep sticking out of the house that had went through the bushes and struck the house right next to the gas line and where my son sleeps. And that's a terrifying thing to like go through so unexpectedly, is to have a vehicle crash into your house when you're sleeping. Have your whole house shake and your bed shake, and be on the other side of that wall is a vehicle that's right next to your gas line, and you could potentially blow up, or the vehicle could catch on fire, or so many scenarios that could have happened. And so we stepped outside, and everybody's trying to like be focused on the lady, and oh my god, are you okay? And nobody, literally nobody said that whatsoever to us, if we were okay or if we needed any help, or you know they just were completely oblivious, even when the Red Cross was there. It was like they were completely oblivious of the accident and of the event that happened. And $500, how far does that go nowadays? And they said to go down to DSS and apply for assistance. Okay, so that's what they told me to do. And so I put my family up in a hotel. I think that everything is going to be settled. And lo and behold, I get a letter a couple of days later, because I was taking a day or two for my own mental health because of this. And all of a sudden, I get a letter denying me for assistance because I had already applied. Being disabled, you're on a limited income. So I tried to apply already to get out of the situation I was already in. And then, a Jeep crashing into my house, that just helps everything so much more. But yeah, so I was turned down for assistance, and after that, we basically had to beg some people to help us to have a hotel and for rides, and it's been almost 2 months now. It'll be 2 months the day before my son's graduation, and we still have no place to go, and insurance hasn't paid us, and DSS won't help us, and no other organization is willing to help us unless we go to the shelter with the drug addicts and criminals. So I'm really pissed off, and I just want to be left alone, and they just seem to be invading my peace on a regular basis. And not just that, but people in my personal life are also invading my peace and tearing me down and belittling me and like completely vacating my life, but saying that they care about my family, they care about my kids, but keeping my children away from me as I go through this tumultuous, traumatic experience, or trying to take my younger two kids away from me when I'm completely incapacitated, other than going into the shelter and receiving help from my enemies and wearing a mask and playing the game the way the game is played, or you don't play and they take even more from you. So yeah, that's the situation with that. And I will post later the actual video from when the vehicle was sticking out of my house. And this is 2 years running. I even had Rent-A-Center. So I was on my last payment for my freezer, and it was stuffed full of food because I knew the shortages were coming. And most people were oblivious, but I actually knew what was going on. So I warned as many people as possible. Then I stuffed my fridge so I would have food, and so my family would have food. And my last payment, just before I pay it off, was like that weekend. And I didn't end up paying it off because I was paying for hotels and Lyft rides and a solution to the fuckery. And so Rent-A-Center started harassing me. They actually came here and tried to get the freezer off of the porch that's actually pinned underneath the structure part that's falling down, and picked a fight, and was just completely ratchet and disgusting about the whole situation. Then I had one of them contact me, promise me that their company, their corporate offices for Rent-A-Center, was going to help me, and to set up a GoFundMe account. So I did that, and she promised, she's like, oh, we're going to help you. The last person we helped, I had a house fire, and we raised enough money to buy her a house. So I set this up, and literally one person, just one person, gave $100 after I begged and begged and posted and posted. And this woman supposedly sent it to their corporate offices at Rent-A-Center. And Rent-A-Center told me that they would provide me a dining room set. A dining room set that I'm sure that I would have to pay for. And of course it wasn't a gratuity. I would have to pay for this set. And then instead of helping me instead of donating money. They kept harassing me for my final payment, even though they also promised that the insurance would pay for the cost and that I would get a new freezer and they would help me raise funds. None of that happened. Not one of that whatsoever. Rent-A-Center is a lying, disgusting company, and I will never use them again because of that. Like lying to people in the most tragic event, starting a fight with them in their most tragic event, promising a bunch of things when they're homeless and they have nothing and they're trying to support their family. That is the most disgusting scumbag thing a company could ever do. And then say, oh, well, we'll provide you a dining room set for your next place. Do you understand the market right now? Do you understand that I have no money because I've been paying for hotels and paying for food out of pocket and paying for Lyft rides so my kid could go to school, and no one is helping, and I'm all here by myself just getting belittled and degraded and treated like garbage, and this is what I do for you and this is what I do for you, drunken blah blah blah, this is what I do for you, you know crazy narcissistic bullshit, and my narcissistic family not wanting to help me and then preventing me from seeing my children when I have no means to see them. I have no place to put them. I'm staying in hotels, and all of my food can't be made because we're in a hotel with a microwave and a fridge, so, and all my food spoiled that was in my porch because, the whole thing's caving in. So, yeah, that's a big help from Rent-A-Center, having me set up a GoFundMe and not providing anything for me. And thank God for, being denied social services. And thank God for, the organizations, the nonprofits that are not helping whatsoever. And the people in my personal life not helping whatsoever and tearing me down and punching me into the ground as we go, basically trying to bury me for being right and warning them and telling them, what's what, and, still warning them about the food shortages. And look at me now. Look at me now. Isn't that crazy? So it's been really rough. I'm trying to get out of this situation, but yeah, we're gonna make some dinner because it's finally boiling. And I think I could do this homestead and stuff. I really do. When I can, take lemons and make margaritas and, choke on the lemon on the way down because people don't want to help and people don't care, and they're really shamefully heartless right now. So, yeah. All right. Bye.